Welcome to the Divorce Devil Podcast. I'm David.
And I'm Rachel. Follow us as we dive into all the positive and negatives of post-divorce recovery. Stay tuned for some real and sometimes raw end-of-the-road divorce topics. Please put on your big pants because we're full of honesty, authenticity, and irrefutable truths.
This progressive podcast ain't for the faint-hearted. Enjoy. Here we go. Da, 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 da.
Did you start?
Kinda. Yeah, I made sure I start on both.
Okay.
Well, welcome everybody out there to Divorce Devil episode 96, 4 away from
100
episodes. Today we're talking about part 2 of peeling back the onion-like layers of divorce recovery. And they are what? Settling down and getting your footing, but you said they are?
Figuring out the fucks.
Figuring out your fucks.
Which ones you're going to give and which ones you're not.
I like that.
I mean, because you really have to take note, like an actual, note of this didn't work. This is why I'm getting divorced.
You almost have to have a tally sheet.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because you can't remember that shit.
A game plan.
Yeah. Write shit down, people.
Or yeah.
Yeah.
Like.
Did you write shit down?
Do I?
No. Did you write shit down?
Oh, yeah. Well, I journaled. So a lot of my figuring out my fucks was, what the fuck is wrong with me and why couldn't I make it work? And why am I not valued? And why am I not more important? Or why wasn't I given respect when I thought I was giving respect, So why wasn't it mutual? Or why wasn't I valued enough in the relationship to not have a bigger part in my relationship? If that makes any sense.
So giving less fucks.
Yeah. Well, figuring out if I really actually gave a fuck anymore. Because once you go through the shock, you're like, okay, I either need to put on my big pants, like we say in our intro, or am I going to quit, shiver, shrivel up and just hide from it? Well, if you have children, especially in a job and,
A life
and things that you need to take care of, bills, business, whatever, you got to figure out what fucks matter. Because not all of them matter. Not all of them matter.
So let's say you take a tally of fucks. Mm-hmm. What do you give a fuck about? What don't you give a fuck about? So you do give a fuck about, making a living. Mm-hmm.
What was your first priority when you got divorced?
Surviving. That was the biggest fuck.
But I feel like mine was, okay, what's going to happen with the kids? How are the kids going to be affected? Before I thought about myself, it was, okay, this is now a new dynamic. How are the kids going to be affected?
But once again, you can't take care of your kids. You don't take care of yourself.
And I think that was my deal. I made sure my son was fed. I made sure he was clothed. I made sure he had all the stuff for school. I made sure, his lunch was made. Or
what about you?
And again, I fell into last place when one of the reasons I left was I felt like I was in last place. So I was recycling the crap that didn't work until I figured out what fucks I needed.
The fucks you shouldn't have gave a fuck about.
Yeah. So it really was how much does this matter? Well, if you don't eat and if you don't sleep and if you don't take care of yourself,
you can't take care of your kids.
Exactly. And then you have either a nervous breakdown or, you're in the hospital. So then that defeats the purpose. And
then the hot firemen come. Yes. So hot.
There was maybe one, but I was in this weird state. I didn't notice people because the snot was coming out my nose.
You weren't able to check them out.
No, I wasn't. But they did help me laugh a little bit through it. Yes, David. That's David,
Seriously?
not me.
I silenced my phone, folks.
He's the technology guy too, so
turn this shit off. I don't give a fuck.
We don't give a fuck. You called us.
Yes.
It's okay.
Yes.
We're gonna live through it. We'll be fine. But someone reached out enough to call you on the phone, so there's a good fuck to give.
It was probably how to last 4 hours in bed or something. It wasn't. Which I really don't give a fuck about.
Calling people about your time at Camp Lejeune and the water.
Yeah, that or
the car warranty.
Or car warranty. Yeah. I don't give a fuck about car warranty. I drive an old van, baby. Old lady van. Chicks dig it.
I saw one of those yesterday. There was a sticker on the left side and it says, I used to be cool. And then on the right side, it says, shit happens. And it's a picture of the minivan. Dude,
that's my life. I'm living that life. Hey, speak it into existence.
No.
Yes.
I shall never have a minivan.
Yes.
Shall
Hey,
never.
You haven't lived had a minivan, baby.
Dude, no. I'm not a minivan mom. I'm not a minivan
Once
mom.
you had a man with a minivan, you never go back.
Well, good thing I've never had a man with a minivan, so we're good on both ends.
Hey, just ask Valerie.
Valerie, I'm sorry. You know how he always apologizes to Lance? I'm sorry. It's your turn.
That's not fair.
It is fair.
I don't give a fuck about a van, okay? But
I don't give a fuck about the car I drive.
yes. I just want to get the A to B. I want to heal. Be healed, please.
I mean, you obviously haven't been to the car dealership in a long time.
What's that? What's that car dealership?
You remember I said
Is
dating
that-
is like car dealerships?
Is that the place where you get married?
I mean, you make a commitment when you purchase the
Yes.
car. But
So that's the place where you get married, right? The car dealership.
I mean, they already have the balloons out, so
Yes.
it'd be
So you might as well get married at the car
Just
dealership.
pick your favorite. Like go to like. you want
I want to get married at Lexus. How did we get into these?
Lamborghini.
Actually, I'm going to be married at Ford. I'm going to keep it simple.
Built Ford tough.
Built Ford tough, baby. Actually, since I have a Honda van, it's going to be Honda.
I like Hondas.
Yeah.
Okay.
Duh.
All right.
My Anaconda don't want none.
Your Honda don't want none.
Don't want. If you got buns, hun.
All right, what happened?
I don't know.
I thought I was the squirrel here.
It's our proverbial
We can't even speak.
off the rails. Oh my god.
Oh my gosh. Speaking of off the rails, I think I got my first joke for our comedy thing.
Oh yeah. Explain to everybody what's going on.
Oh, so we are celebrating our 100th episode. We are turning 100 episodes, and we are having a comedy night on November 10th.
Thursday.
A Thursday at 7 o'clock at Seven Gates Tap Room.
And if you can't make it, we're going to record it.
We are going to
Put it on
record
YouTube.
it, but we might charge you. No, I'm just kidding.
No, we might have to edit it big time. Especially when Rachel tells her joke.
Actually, it's pretty. Oh no, wait. I forgot about the punchline.
Yeah. Anyway, so
yeah.
Lisa Lane is our host. She's episode 8 of How to Build a Sex Room.
And then there's two other comedians.
One other comic? Two other comics. And Lisa has convinced Rachel and I to tell, 5 minutes of jokes? 2
I don't
minutes
know.
of jokes?
My
30
joke
seconds
is
of
40
jokes?
seconds.
40 seconds, that's all I'm doing.
If I don't pass out, then we're good. I'm pretty good. Like, if you're there, I think I'll be fine. But I may have to,
I know
like,
CPR.
when in doubt,
80 to 100.
tell a dad joke. No, so we're super excited. We have, some little prizes and some, just fun stuff.
Alcohol.
And lots of alcohol. We'll have some signature drinks and come out and celebrate with us. We are so excited, and, we love our audience. And if you're in Colorado at that time, you can get tickets.
Coral Springs. But if you're
we'll
not, look for us on YouTube.
Yeah. And there's a link. We'll have the link in our podcast.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
So, yeah. Where were we? Oh,
Giving
no
fucks.
fucks.
Giving fucks.
Giving fucks.
So you went from episode 100 to giving no fucks.
We scroll a lot.
But there was a difference between giving no fucks as in trying to settling down and getting your footing and giving no fucks for forgiveness. That's totally different.
Oh,
right?
yeah. There's,
okay.
Well, I think once the shock is over, I think healing starts, right? Because the shock's over. Okay, today I didn't cry all day. I only cried for 3 hours. And then tomorrow, I hope, the next day I've
Baby
only
steps.
cried for 1 hour. So you're healing. So now your next thing is, where do I go from this? What about when the crying stops and the life smacks you in the face and it's, where am I going to live? Or where is he going to move? Or where are the kids going to stay in the school? Or do you have to switch jobs because you can't afford to live here by yourself? Or, what's your new path looking like? And, a lot of the things that led you out of your marriage now can change because you're at rock bottom, basically, right? Because It's so fucking shitty, so emotional, so lonely. So you just have to pick yourself up or not, because sometimes you can't because it's just so debilitating. So you have to figure out what matters in the phase of it that you are. So first it's, I need to make sure I'm eating every day.
Wow.
David keeps hitting the board, changing my voice. Make sure I'm eating, at least 1 or 2 meals a day. Make sure that I'm, sleeping enough hours. Making sure that, I'm getting my shit done. Make sure I know what bills I need to pay. All this stuff that you're getting in line are the fucks you should give. The other one,
almost to that. Even though you're rock bottom and you have all this pain, sometimes you need to lean into that pain in order to get a footing to go ahead.
Oh, yeah. No, I definitely think a very beginning, a friend says, no matter what, because journaling was big. Journaling became very important to me. It was almost like it was part of my job. So this morning when I wake up, how did I feel? Was I, swollen because my eyes swollen because I cried all night. Okay, well, this is what happened last night. This is why I feel like this. And this is what can I do next? I'm going to take a little self-care time right now. I'm going to either take a bath or get some tea, whatever that is.
Wash your ass.
Wash your booty.
Yes, wash your booty.
Get some cucumbers for your eyes, for the swelling, But I'm also making little bits of progress because I'm realizing that I'm the most valuable thing in self-care, right? So
I think with journaling, though, it allows you to see where you've been. So you can go back in time, back in pages to check it out and say, hey, look at that day. I cried 5 hours and today I cried an hour.
Yeah.
So you see that slow motion recovery start.
Yeah, and then you can also see what parts, need a little work. Like I said, I was drinking a lot. And, so today I'm not going to go get wine. I'm not going to go get any alcohol. I'm going to keep myself busy. I'm going to go for a walk. I'm going to do this. And in doing that, I saw my faults. I saw the things that kept pulling me back into that toxic, the arguing, the fighting, the this, I'm going to do that, and then, keep getting hit with financial stuff. I'm like, okay, well, I have all these bills, but I make this much money. And he has nothing, he says, to give me or to help. And I still have to live or have gas to get to work and all that stuff. So I think you put in that game plan is your fucks to give because it's getting you through each day. Because each day is so hard. You're just like, oh my God, is this my life? I hope it's easier tomorrow. I hope it's easier the next day. And then it does get that way because I feel like when I was going through it too, I was not letting anything bug me that wasn't related to my son, my job, or, whatever I needed, like eating. Okay, so those are the things. Anything outside that I'm like, I really can't do that today. Or I really can't help with that today. I'm going to try to go, but if I don't make it, please don't be upset at me because I don't make it. Or, not scheduling plans way out because I didn't know how I was going to feel. If I had a court appearance on a Tuesday and Wednesday I didn't have my kid and everybody was going out, I may not be emotionally ready on Wednesday to go out. And so I think I started prioritizing the fucks that I.
So what would you tell our listeners how important journaling can be sometimes?
Well, I think if you do with anything, Pinterest, Google, whatever, there are guided journaling for divorce. There are guided for, a loss or,
or just write some shit down on the page.
And I think I talked about this in one of the podcasts too, where I started with my kids, my daughter, especially because she's, I guess she's a senior at college. She's trying to apply for jobs. She's got a crazy relationship. She's got friends and she's trying to please everybody. And I was like, in each situation, write down 3 positives and 3 negatives on separate papers. Read them both. Take the negatives and throw them out. Just discard them. You've seen them. You know them. You've read them. They're in your head. Now go back to the positives and see how you can change the negatives that that are in your head into a positive. So then your next step is, okay, so, the boyfriend yelled at me because I did this. well, no, I'm not going to allow him to talk to me positively. I'm not going to allow someone else, another human, to talk to me like that. And I'm going to communicate with him. So that turned that negative of that reaction of someone else that you can't control into something you now can control. Saying, I'm going to have a conversation with another adult who happens to be in a relationship with me and tell them my feelings. If they can't process that, that's now their problem and not mine. And I've gotten rid of that negative.
Gotcha.
And I think journaling helped me cross out a lot of the negatives that were more surface than actually, important. So, and they say once you scratch the surface, you get past all the stuff that's really good. And I got rid of all the surface bullshit. And, it does leave scars because, but you have to get past what their true issues were. And a lot of times it is communication. A lot of times it's, shady, like communication. I don't want to upset you, so I didn't tell you. But then, this happens. That was with like my financial stuff. And then, there's other shady stuff. And so when you lose a little bit of trust and, at a time, it builds up. And then when you're smacked in the face and you're like, this wasn't really my problem, but I didn't communicate either. I didn't go, that seems weird. I just thought, oh, he'll take care of it. That's what happens, or, stuff like that. So
I think some of my negatives were, one of my big negatives was when the kids would go to her place every other week and they leave on Sunday afternoons. That was a negative, but I got past that. Another negative was actually talking to her.
Oh, because all you see is fire.
Yeah.
You see fireballs shooting out your eyes.
Yeah.
They can't see them.
Yeah, but I can feel them. It's hot, man. My lips on fire and my eyes on fire. Yeah. Well, took me a while to get past that too.
Well, and I think, now that you have to communicate with someone who will be in your life regardless because you have kids, right? For the rest of your lives.
But not as much.
No, in some aspect. And that's when you set boundaries. Like, this is a boundary that I have to give a fuck about because I cannot keep going back into the toxic pool. I'm losing limbs. So I'm going to go in with all of me and be like, okay, this is uncomfortable for me. I don't really want to have a face-to-face. I'm going to try email. I'm going to try a text. And if that doesn't get it because there's no emotion in it, then you may have to have the conversation. But you've already said it
sometimes you don't want emotion in it.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah, you don't need emotion in it sometimes.
Well, and, when you're being threatened that your kid's going to be taken from you because you have nothing and you live in someone else's house and you can't afford your car to get to work to make money, it's all like, I did that. That's my fault. And I think mine was guilt. And then I was like, you know what? No, you don't get to guilt me because I made a decision that you couldn't make. You don't get to guilt me because I'm putting my foot down finally. And I'm not saying it's your fault, but it's your fault. And so now when we're both heated, there's no resolve. So it just gets more heated. And then I've told you before too, fighting because of my growing up, like actually physically hurts. I feel like someone's actually hitting me. So like yelling and I just am like, I feel like that 5-year-old kid just like shivering up,
I do think that one of the things that prevents settling down and getting your footing or not giving a fuck is blame.
Yeah.
If you caused it, if you did it, if you pulled the trigger, if you had the trigger pulled on you, the quicker you let go of that blame, the quicker you can move on.
And that's I'm 2.5 years out and I still get from my kids when they're upset at me, they throw that in my face.
But that doesn't matter though. That's fine.
It stings less.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Hell yeah.
But it still affects you. I'm like, sometimes I feel like your children don't realize you're a human until you're not in that marriage anymore. Because like right now it's mom and dad, but I'm also Rachel over here. Yep. I'm also still mom now, but I'm also Rachel and mom and, a nurse and I do a podcast and this. Before I was just Jerry's wife. Yep. And, that's what I felt. And maybe that's not how people perceived me, but I always felt like they were like, oh, where's, so now the kids, I go, I have feelings. I have emotion. Just because I've yelled at you before and put you to your room doesn't mean I don't have feelings or punished you or, Yep. They have to realize that you are also, can be affected by this. And not every day is roses.
I'm glad it's less.
Yeah.
That's a good thing. Because before you probably were like crazy.
Oh gosh,
Yeah.
when they would say that to me, I go, well, because no one else could.
Maybe I shouldn't have left. Then
Oh, no, I did that too.
Then you question yourself.
Well,
Yeah.
and we had been fighting for a while, and just kept it between us, him and I, and not really saying anything to friends, and just playing the roles of husband and wife.
Mhm.
And some of our meanest fights were over the stupidest shit, but it all stemmed from really important stuff that we hadn't dealt with, and I think because the kids didn't really see us fighting, that they didn't think that we had that human trait of, I get upset, I get mad, I get sad, I get depressed, I get this, I also go through this. I just don't want you to see my weakness because I need to be strong for my kids. But it's okay to be weak, because then the kids know, hey, this is affecting her. This, because I've always sorry, trying to be strong for everybody else. And, my weakest moments were, my 11-year-old saw me have a nervous breakdown. He knew that how bad this was affecting me. So, and I think, the other things that affect that too is anger, blame, the not knowings.
Acceptance. Not acceptance.
Yeah.
Once you accept that, hey, this is the new reality. He and I, or she and I are not together anymore.
Yeah.
That's a tough one to accept.
Well, and then, but part one with the shock, I think you have that roller coasters of, oh, it's a shock again, or it's this, or the first time you tell someone that you're getting divorced, the first time you have to go in front of the judge. Oh
God, yes.
I'm a failure.
Or even talk to the lawyers. Hell.
Don't take my children from me, please. Yeah. I'm so desperate. Can this desperate woman take care of a child? So everything you say is calculated, and the fucks you have to give is getting your ducks in a row.
Yep.
Getting
your fucks with ducks.
Just don't fuck a duck.
Yeah, don't fuck a duck.
David, we know how you are with beasts.
Get in your fucks with ducks.
Fucking ducks.
Duck fucking.
Fucking ducks.
Fucking ducks.
No, so you really have to you have to get a plan. You have to have some type of plan. And whether it's write it down or use your iPad or your computer or whatever.
Write it down.
Progress in your writing shows you progress in your healing. And so when you see you're healing a little bit, I think that's empowering too. You're oh wow, look at that. I was able to say, I'm getting divorced without crying. I have a court date on this day without crying, or, I've been divorced for this long without going, oh shit. So there's just a lot of things that when you're settling, when you're figuring out the fucks you need to give, you are stronger than you know. Mm-hmm. And I think that took me a long time to realize. Everybody's like, oh, you're so resilient. You've been through so much in your life and blah, blah, blah. I never felt strong. I just had to do it. It never was
you have a choice.
Yeah. So resiliency came from, I didn't know there was another option to not survive, So, and I think that's all about, and that's all we're trying to do is just survive and get to, see our loved ones and, have a happy life. Because we always say happiness is worth the effort.
Oh,
and
definitely.
The beginning of divorce is so tiresome and so exhausting.
Training.
And you really have to put effort into being happy. So what was your major, the fuck that you had to give? I mean, your business, your children,
Yep, I had to, besides the kids, survive with the kids, I had to make sure the business survived because it was supporting everybody. Yeah. Yep.
So, I mean, there's a lot of things at stake, especially the further you are in your life or your career. Yep. And
if you're an old guy, yeah.
I mean, if you're just in college and you got married and now you're graduating college and get divorced.
More power to you. So young. I'm so jealous. Yeah. That's a shitty thing to happen, but I am jealous.
60 is the new 40.
Yeah.
So 40 is the new 20.
Yeah. And 20 is the new 0.
20, you're a fetus.
Yeah.
But yeah, so I think and everybody's different. So, my fucks were and what someone else's, what their priorities were or what their, with no kids, it's you and the other person against each other and split the dog down the middle, like what, who gets the dog, or a cat, whatever. But, you
can never split a pussy down the middle.
Aren't they?
Anyway. Well, they are. Duh.
David.
Wow,
he's getting senile. I might need a new co-host soon.
I don't know what you're saying.
I'll be doing auditions.
Yes. Wow.
For his replacement.
Foot in mouth.
I almost said, what kind of pussies are you looking at? I'm like, wait, what the hell?
Anyway.
I thought it was a trick statement.
For our listeners out there, let's rehash some important points.
Yeah.
Important points are figure out the fucks that are worth figuring out.
Yeah. Well, and
all the rest, let them go.
Know that there's a lot of things that are going to get in your way that, like we said, blame. You have to learn to accept whatever the cause or whatever, get past it. Whatever caused you to not be married anymore. It doesn't really matter 10 years down the road, 5 years down the road, whatever. It's happened. You're now on a new adventure. Figure out, do you need your backpack? Do you need a water bottle? Do you need this? What do you need on this new adventure? So make sure that you put yourself first because you can't take care of anybody else before.
Not that person.
Yeah.
For sure.
And that person, yes, you love them. And yes, they were a big part of your life, but you wish them well. Move on, do your own shit, figure it out.
My words of encouragement or advice, or just words, you can fall in love, you can fall out of love. Yep.
And, whatever happened. And, like I keep saying, I cannot believe that happiness can be the way it is now because I never knew that.
Yep.
I wasn't happy. I mean, I was happy.
This is your second act.
It was good until it wasn't.
Accept your second act of your life.
Yeah.
That's what it is.
And I think, too, now that I know who I am and I know what I need and I know who I am and I know where I thrive and my importance in my world, whether it's work, friends, family, whatever. Now that I know that no matter what happens, I'll be okay. And I can support my family and all that through shit that they've been through because I've probably been through it. I mean, I've been through a lot of shit.
Oh, yeah.
But my resiliency also says you need to take care of you in order to know how you react to anything.
Definitely.
Because most things are reactive and we just hope that you can heal and figure out what your new flow is.
Do your thing.
Yeah. Figure out the fucks.
Everybody. Episode 695, figuring out the fucks.
Okay, auditions are next week on Wednesday.
Figuring out the fucks.
We'll hold open auditions.
Open mics.
The comedy.
Yeah, just make sure it's vertical, not horizontal. Sometimes he lies down.
Like the split in your vagina.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh wow! What a concept. Ford tough, baby.
I mean,
yes.
Okay.
I take you.
This is why I drive a Toyota.
Ford tough. Yeah. Once again, ladies, biggest point: you ain't had a man till you had a man who drives a van.
Not the free candy van.
No, not the free candy van.
Free hugs.
Yeah. But the soccer van, chicks dig it.
With that sliding door.
Yeah, the sliding door.
The big hatch in the back.
Yep. Wow. Oh, she's snorting, so we're going to leave. Thanks, everybody, for listening. And have a good day. And journal. Journal. Write some stuff down.
Write something.
Yeah.
Maybe write a song. Maybe write a poem. Write a joke.
And then send it to us, please.
At my
yes.
email.
Oh, yeah.
I will use them. No copyrights allowed.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Send us some jokes because you have no jokes for. No, I have 2 jokes.
You do.
Yes. Maybe I'll tell them to you, please.
Okay.
All right, everybody. Thanks for listening.
Love you. Bye.
Bye-bye. Whoa, just kicked it.